charm, as they say.
Technical difficulties again. Seems to be an ongoing thing.
I blame your phone. Why did you
Well,
switch it? I
a
don't
lot
know.
of people, a lot of my clients have been saying they've been having electronic issues for all of January. So,
Yeah.
and
Blame January, not your phone.
yeah, exactly. Well, I mean, other people have had the same issues, so it's really weird. So it's not just me, is what I'm saying.
You're not
But
the problem.
it's this one's almost birthday tomorrow, technically.
Tomorrow is my birthday.
Tomorrow is your birthday.
1 year older.
Yes, another trip around the sun.
Fun times, fun times. Yeah, my kids call me old. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm younger than every parent in your class. Like,
Well, I just recently read, not too long ago, that you consider old 15 years.
oh, we talked about this.
Yeah,
Yeah.
15 years out from yourself. So, whatever age. So, it like, I thought 55 was old when I was a kid. I was like, oh my God, that's ancient.
Well, 55 is, yeah. As a kid, like, if I was Lucy's age, which is 7. She turns 8 this year. 7. Yeah, 55 would be, you would be really old. I feel like you're
Yeah.
almost dead.
Yeah, yeah. And I'm only halfway there, folks, because I plan to live to be 104.
104.
Yeah,
I've never
104.
thought of that.
You'll be holding me as I die, and I'll be like, did I reach 104?
I'll be like, sure, Mom. Sure. Even,
Yes,
even
yes,
if you're
you
at
are.
89, I'll be like, yeah, you did, Mom. I'll lie to you.
Well, good. I'm glad you lie so that I stay happy.
Yeah. Unless
Go
I'm
to
not,
the other side going, I made it.
I did it. I feel like 90. I feel like 96. 96, I think, is.
Yeah, 96 is definitely up there, you know?
Or 89. I don't know.
89, that's your magic number.
Those ranges, I'd be okay.
Yeah. I would be totally okay, especially if I was still sharp. I want to stay
Yeah.
sharp. I don't mind getting fumbly.
Bumble.
Now, my biggest fear, of course, is a fall because I've seen so many old people fall, and
That's how
their
Grandma went.
yeah, and it's like once you fall, it seems
It really.
It
well,
really
it's more
affects
so
you.
because you go in the hospital, and then you're more prone to getting like sicknesses and illnesses. You're also already compromised because you're older.
Yeah.
And then having injury where your body's trying to take care of, it can only do so much. So you're really exposed to.
Well, it's funny because a lot in my family, as you know, especially on the Irish side, the Celtic side.
we live.
Well, we live long, but we also don't stay. We die at home.
Yeah, we don't like to not die at home.
Yeah, like my
Oh.
dad's case was an unusual
I was just
thing.
say, yeah. What do you think about? Yeah, there's not too many people who haven't just perished at home.
Yeah, even my Uncle Pat, who just passed not too long ago, he died at home. We die at home.
We die at home. We're all about the home.
But we live long because we die at home.
Yeah.
Because you're more relaxed, you're less likely to get infected
Yeah.
or germs or whatever.
and
the
stress
hospital
and-
is like the last place you want to be.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, obviously, if you're
So bring me home.
yeah, unless like you're actively
Like
you
if
know,
I'm actively hooked up to machines.
yeah, like if it's keeping you alive, hospital is good.
Yeah, exactly.
Doctors
exactly.
are good
It's like
when
I
they're
go into
actively
a
trying to help
coma and you don't pull the plug till I'm 104. She doesn't want us to pull the
you.
plug.
Yeah, she's gotta wait till 104. At that point, you're paper thin. You're like literally a husk of yourself.
I've been in a coma for 20 years. It's like, what the hell?
She's the thinnest she's ever been. She'd be so happy to see herself.
Exactly. Take some pictures of her. Post it on Facebook.
Yeah. Weight loss goals hit.
Exactly. Oh my
We
god.
have a dark sense of humor.
We have a very dark sense of humor. We go dark pretty fast. Oh my goodness.
But death doesn't really scare me. I don't think death in our. Well, I mean, I don't know.
Death doesn't scare me
doesn't bother
as
me.
much anymore. I mean, obviously it's an unknown,
Yeah.
right? So it's a little it's got some trepidation around it.
I feel like.
But-
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm like, if it's my time to go,
I don't really have.
I will be saying on the other side, sorry to interrupt, I'm not 104 yet. Send me back.
Send me back. It's not how that works. I mean, I guess, well, I mean, in some situations, I guess that can work.
Yeah.
I think if by the time you're going, though, I don't think it's going to work. I'm just going to I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I don't have any problems with, I have no fear over my own death. I have fear over my children's dying and
Of
I end
course.
up dying. I'm more afraid of them dying than I am of
Right,
myself. Like, I'm
yeah.
like, whatever.
You don't want to be alive if they're dead.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I
That
mean, not
I-
that you would get to the point of suicide, I'm sure.
No.
But you would definitely be in grieving for a very long
Yeah,
time.
I'd be very lifeless.
Yes, and especially like I mean, love Ianda, no problem there. But you should not ever have to bury your children,
No. Yeah, you
even if they get into adulthood
No.
and have children of their own.
No,
like
you-
I don't ever want to bury you,
No.
ever.
Hopefully you won't.
Yes, exactly.
Until you're 104.
Yeah. When I'm 104, yeah, maybe.
Maybe.
I'll
I'll
get
be
the
I'll
shovel
be
out.
pretty old at that point. I'll go shovel. How
You'll
would
be-
you be strong enough to hold a shovel at 104?
You'll be in your late 90s, or no, early 90s, because there's like 21 years between us. I think.
You're doing your math wrong.
Oh, okay.
If I wouldn't be
Oh,
in
yeah,
my late
you'd-
90s.
you'd be in your
I'd
80s.
I'd be in my 80s. Like, woman, go back to school. You're doing your math
I'm
wrong.
104. I can make math whatever I want.
She's 55 now with a 104 brain already. God knows what she'll have when she's at
I
104.
feel like I have a 104 brain. Everything has been, I've been forgetting appointments. I've been forgetting things, like, oh, damn, I locked myself out of my office, as I was telling you. Like, everything. And even
Phone's
today
not working.
was a struggle.
Apparently, the universe is out to get you.
Oh, well, I don't think so, but,
It's teaching you something. It wants you to pay attention.
Yeah.
Maybe it wants you to slow down.
Yeah. And it's taught me that lesson once before. Apparently, I need to be taught it again.
Yeah.
I'm usually I've gotten to a point where I'm very methodical about things. I'm
I'm always methodical.
and I'm very anal, retentive about putting stuff back where it, like wherever it comes.
Put it back, yeah.
Yeah, and same thing in this building. You were just talking about the bathrooms. If I find a bathroom open, I leave it the way I saw it.
Yeah.
If it's locked, I leave it the way I saw it, so that nobody can come back and say, "Hey, why did you do this?" I just left it the way it was.
So you don't get in trouble either.
Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. Yeah, I don't want to step on anyone's toes.
Just want to do
Yeah.
any rebel.
Exactly. Don't
Yes.
question me about wrongness, because I am not wrong ever.
Ever. She's always right.
90% of the time, yes. Yes, that is true. And I will freely admit when I'm wrong.
I'm usually pretty good when I'm wrong, except for when I've accidentally put something somewhere else and I assume someone else did it, and I'm like, that was totally you. I definitely would never have put that there. I've gotten better though. I'm like, that was my fault. I totally thought you moved it,
And that's hilarious when you get angry about something that someone else didn't do, but you
Yeah.
think they did.
Yeah, I'm bad for. I'm better now, but I used to be really bad for that, and I still have moments of like, why did you move this? And then later on, I'm like, I think actually I moved that. And here I am yelling at everyone like, stop touching this thing, stop moving. And I'm like, I'm the problem. I'm the problem.
But that's, it's good. You've gotten older and wiser.
Older and wiser. Well, one more year wiser.
Yeah, one more year wiser. That's the theory. You're supposed to get wiser. Not everyone does.
Sometimes I feel like I came out really wise and just have gotten
You
dumber.
did. You did. No, you haven't gotten dumber. You came out. You're an old soul. I know you are.
Yeah.
Your native name is Sitting Owl.
She almost forgot what she.
No,
what she
I
gave
was.
me.
I was trying to think of the Mohawk.
Did you ever get the Mohawk translation?
Not yet. So if anyone knows the Mohawk translation for Sitting Owl, please send it to me. I've been meaning to reach out to Sarah because she can speak Mohawk.
Oh, does she? Cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I've been meaning to reach out. Haven't yet.
Life happens.
Life happens. She's had a lot on her plate too. So.
Yeah, well, doesn't everyone these days? I feel like
I know, right?
that's part of being adult, just having a lot of shit on your plate.
Exactly. So we've heard that you enjoy our Reddit reactions.
Reactions, which we haven't done because honestly we've been kind of lazy.
Yeah.
Even though literally it's an app on our phone that we could just search up something.
Oh, I have to press the app. Oh my
no.
god.
I do this all the time at home when I doom scroll, but God forbid I do it for my podcast.
Exactly.
The horror.
So we thought we'd do a Reddit reaction for birthdays because we're celebrating her birthday. I got her a couple of birthday donuts.
Yeah.
So far, it's just the beginning.
Just the beginning. And if you want to, donate some money towards us for my birthday, we do have our Ko-Fi on the description.
Yeah,
down
in
below.
the description, you can send a little bit of money for us, buy us some coffee, buy her another donut,
Yeah.
or me another donut, and I can eat it in celebration of her birthday.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that.
But, and it's also a way to show love. So we're going to actually post the Ko-Fi thing on every podcast.
Yeah, going for it, because I don't think we've done that on everyone. So if you, watch us after, you can add more to
Yeah.
it, because if you've watched all the other ones, it's always helpful. We always appreciate it.
It helps to
I need a little
support
bit, even a
and-
little bit, a mouth for a coffee or like a
Yeah.
donut or, for me to go shopping at the thrift store.
Yeah, that's right.
'Cause I really love going
We
shopping
can, do,
at the thrift store.
Some episodes of what we found at the thrift
That's
store.
a good idea. We've got some good deals.
Yeah, you got that wallet.
I've got that wallet, yeah.
There
I
was
actually
a
still have it.
Really nice wallet, and it had the guy's
It has, what was it? It was his ID.
for something military, like not
I
military,
don't think
but
it was military, but he
but it
was
was-
like a citizenship kind of thing.
Yeah.
It clearly,
and it was like 20 years old or
yeah,
something.
he was clear. Like, it
Actually,
seemed like
probably
he was
older than that.
probably, like, I assume, immigrated into the country. What it seemed like that.
Right, yeah.
I still have it in my wallet. I feel it's like he's my guardian of the wallet, so
Nice.
I keep him in there. He's
no,
my
it's
buddy.
really cool because it's very
It's
old.
a very nice wallet too.
Like the piece of paper is very old.
Yeah.
So it's not, I'm thinking it was even more than 20 years ago, but obviously it's something probably his family donated
Yeah, not
when they
realizing.
were cleaning out his home because he's probably passed.
Yeah,
And because
Yeah.
we tried looking him up and we couldn't find him, but
no.
he's of an age that might not be on social media.
Well, yeah. Well, and he looked already pretty old in his picture, like older. Mm-hmm. So I would be surprised if he's, 104 still living.
yeah, exactly.
All about the 104 this year. Yeah, no, I got a lamp there.
Yeah.
I got a really expensive lamp that I've been buying myself personally, and I got it for under $20. The light bulbs are $45. So just to give you an idea of how much the cost of this light is, I think it's like
Wow.
almost $250.
Wow.
Now, granted, now the base is starting, like the cement that keeps it weighted is starting to break, so I have to like figure out how I can, because it doesn't affect the actual.
Electronic connection.
Yeah,
or
so I have to
anything.
figure out how to fix it. If you have any ideas, let me know, because I am not.
Well, I got that big floor lamp from next door.
They're pretty good.
And I got the mini fridge.
There's a lot. Yeah, the mini fridge. I remember
And,
that because I called you. Remember? I was like,
yes.
they've got a mini fridge here. I don't even want
And
it.
she said it was 50, and I checked the price and it was 40.
Oh,
It was
even
$10 cheaper, so it's like yoink, of course. And I got my toaster oven from there.
Yeah, I've gotten lots of good stuff. I've gotten good cross stitch. I got my Q Snap from there
Yeah.
that I really like. I've gotten two. One was a legit one. One was a knockoff.
Oh, okay.
Um,
And when they have their green ticket prices or
yeah, like I get.
yellow ticket prices
I got
or
like
whatever.
a boatload of stuff for the kids there for
Oh,
half
yeah.
off. And like I usually go shopping there for the kids stuff. And every time I'm in there when I'm like, oh, I need to get like certain size clothing, I always find all the clothing I need
Yeah.
for the kids.
And good
Always.
stuff.
It's always good stuff. I've gotten some name brand stuff, good quality stuff that's like clearly never even been worn. Because sometimes you buy things for kids and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
forget.
Yeah, exactly.
I got like a really good Squishmallow for Annabelle one year.
because
for her
like even
birthday.
on the Antiques Roadshow, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you bring in like vintage children's toys,
Yeah.
they say it's really hard to find stuff that's like in even good, much less great or perfect condition.
Yeah.
Because most of the time the toys have been played with.
Yeah.
And children are rough on the toys. So
Yeah.
the fact that you can find clothes and toys in there for your kids that are reasonable,
Oh, yeah, I was gonna
gently
say.
used, not it's not like you're buying garbage. And
No,
then,
the one that
some
we-
of the stuff at Value Village.
Is straight up garbage. I find
Yeah.
Talese too. So I've never really.
Yes!
I've only gone to Talese, but that Talese is where I found that Nutcracker thing
Oh,
that you
okay.
had from Avon, which I was really excited about. It doesn't technically work. I'll have to see if I can fix it. But
Right,
that
right.
was more so to look at.
Right.
But I went there because I was doing like Christmas shopping. I was like, oh, try and go to the thrift store, try and reduce like how
Yeah.
much your one spend, but also just like environmentally
yeah,
and be
recycling up and
being
stuff,
conscious of like consumption. and it was like so garbagey. Like they had a
It
few
was.
big stuff. I was like, okay, able to find a few things. Like, okay, actually, this is a good quick. But they had like a wall of like maybe 3 or 4 rows of like kind of bigger toys or like bigger
Okay,
items that
yeah.
obviously can't just fit in the little bags. They have.
Right. Yes.
And most of it was just like junk. It was just straight up garbage and junk. I found like one little microwave toy that worked, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. It needed a good clean, but whatever. You expect that sometimes from the thrift store. But the rest of
the
it was
stuff
just
that's over
this-
here is
I've
clean.
never, yeah, the stuff over here is clean.
Yeah.
It's always, I've rarely found something I'm like, this is kind of junky. Why did they put this out here? Rarely.
Yeah, but
Rarely.
rarely. And again, like you said, if it's a kid's toy, you expect
Yeah.
somewhere. But and everybody over there, by the way, is a volunteer.
Yeah, there's only I think a few people that are like paid to work
yeah,
there,
I
like
think-
in upper management to like obviously run the actual.
Yeah, yeah, to run the store, turn the lights
But yeah,
on
a
and
lot
all
of the
that kind
people like
stuff.
the cashiers and the people that do the back end, it's all volunteer because it's for the church.
Yeah, exactly.
If you have issues with that, I don't know, but
Hey,
I mean, it's a
they're
really
doing a good
it's a
thing.
really good thrift store, and like
I don't care what you do spiritually or religiously based, as long as
You're helping people.
you're helping people, it makes you a better person in some way, it brings you
Yeah.
comfort, and makes you a good person. Then what's the
What
harm?
does it matter?
Yeah.
I know. I've always gotten really lucky over there. Every time I've gone over there, I always find something.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
And I always find something like their books are good, like they're like 50 to 75 cents.
Yeah.
So
The
you
only
can't-
thing is they won't bring in any spiritual books that are not Christian.
yeah, they
spiritual.
are a little bit like it depends.
They're
on
heavy on the Bibles.
Yeah, and yeah, so
You can get a free Bible there. if
you can
want.
get a free Bible for sure.
Which I did pick up one time because it's nice to have it as a reference. Because it does get referenced every once in a while.
Yes, they do. I saw a book that like broke down the Bible, and I was like thinking about reading that because I'm like the idea when I tried to read the Bible, I'm like this is drier than dirt.
Yeah.
It's so
and Numbers is really just like reading a survey.
It's just
it's so dry.
terrible. I'm like I
Yeah.
always think about when people do Bible study, not to hate on people that do Bible study. Each person likes their thing,
Yeah.
but
There's some good stories in there.
I'm sure there are. I didn't
but
get to
to
them.
do it from beginning to end, yeah.
It's brutal. I was like, I'll do this because they always say it's good to read the Bible. 'Cause
Yeah.
like you said, they reference it so much,
Yeah.
especially in like our North America. It's very like
And art.
and art and stuff. So, anyways, I was
You
like,
can go
oh.
to the Sistine Chapel and say, "Hey, I know who that person is.
Yeah.
I know what they're doing right there."
I understand, but no, it was. I think I barely got into it. I was like, yeah, that's
And then, of course, there's the whole who wrote that Bible, like King James
oh,
version
yes.
and
what
all the
king,
different
what
versions.
king was in charge of the Bible?
Because there was propaganda that would get in there, of course, right?
yes,
So.
yes, because we don't have propaganda right now.
Well, no, I'm not saying that,
No.
but it's like, and it was a huge issue in the 1500s when Reform came in, because that's when the Bible. People were starting to translate the Bible into their language, whether
yeah,
it's
that's
French
where a lot of the
or
issues
English.
start. Well, that's like that was the big start of miscommunication.
Yeah, and of course, if the king's in charge, he massages it
Yeah,
to
to
whatever,
fit whatever his kind of
narrative.
what he
needs to
wants
be.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is why I should be in charge because the Bible says this and I'm doing this.
But it was a big thing because before then, the Mass itself and the Bible was in Latin, and most people didn't know
what it
that-
actually meant. They were just like,
So
oh.
it was a big thing for them to find out. Oh, this is what it actually says, and things like that. So it was a good thing and a bad thing at the same time.
Good and bad.
And a lot of people lost their lives over it because the first ones that wanted to reform and bring it into English, French, Italian, whatever it was, wanted it in its purest form.
Okay.
And like they were literally
Like they want the
translating.
literal translation.
Yeah.
They don't want any kind of
no
document.
politics were yet
Yeah.
involved, and a lot of people lost their lives for it and sacrificed
Oh my
because
goodness.
they were considered heretics.
Just People are weird. Our history is fucked up in
We
so
don't
many
like
ways.
change in a lot of ways.
I'm shocked. I'm shocked by that information.
Human beings, on a
Don't
whole,
like change.
don't
Yet
like
we
change.
evolve and change so quickly. Like, what do you mean? We don't like change as we change so fast.
Well, it's always the younger generation that's wanting
And we're
the
bringing
change.
the change in because they're like, oh, we want the change.
So it's great that we listen to the younger generation, but at the same time there needs to be respect for the elders and also allowance for the young to yes, you're out of control when you're young because when you're
You're
young,
really testing
you're,
the limits, and
you're going to extremes.
yeah, I think there's like respect on both sides. There's really giving
Absolutely.
the space for both to understand and grace on both sides, and
Yeah,
and
and listening on both sides.
listening on both
and
sides,
guiding the young to a more centered view, perhaps.
Yeah.
like a more discerned view,
Yeah, but also the young have a lot. I mean, I don't know.
and then also the young respecting the older's viewpoints. And it's this is old and this is young, and it's coming to the center and finding something that works for everyone.
Yeah.
I don't mean center in politics kind of center. I mean center as in let's come together, let's see what one side has versus the other.
Yeah.
Like I've often said that one of the best conversations I had was my last conversation, or my second last conversation with my grandmother, when I asked her, what was your childhood like? And I found out things about my own family that I didn't even know.
My God, the secrets that have been released.
Yeah, exactly. So I look forward to that conversation with Lucy and Annabelle when they get older.
When you're 104.
When I'm
you're
104.
Grandma, what were you like? Well, I guess Nana, what were you like? Why they're old, I don't know.
Well, they wouldn't be young.
No, they would be.
In their 60s, probably. If I was in my hundreds.
I had Lucy at 26.
Yeah.
So, and if I'm in my 80s, so she'd be 50s?
Yeah.
50s?
Late 50s, early 60s, somewhere around there.
Yeah, let's not do too much math while I'm...
Yeah. Let's get to the story.
Let's get to the story. We went on a real big tangent. You went on a real big tangent. I
did.
just followed along.
There you go.
Okay, so this comes with an update too. This was 9 days ago.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for refusing to take my daughter to her birthday party? My 33 female daughter, Cleo, 5-year-old, hates pink. She has disliked the color and almost everything to do with it since she was about 3 or so. She has one pink shirt she likes and one pink stuffed animal, and that's it.
She's how old?
5.
5.
She's 5.
So she's going
She's
to...
a little. But at 5, they're pretty opinionated. They know what they like and don't like.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most like pure thing about kids. They are very good at telling you what they want and don't want.
Yeah.
They're very good
Yeah.
at that. But they're very good at boundaries. My father's partner, Pure. I don't know.
Pierre. Let's
Pure?
go just...
I don't think that's. Anyways, refuses to accept that Cleo doesn't like pink. Over the years, she's made several attempts to push the color onto her. Pretty much every gift she's ever given her has some shade of pink. No matter how many times I tell her to stop. She has tried to give me dozens of different reasons why I should encourage my daughter to try different shades. Such a weird thing. It clearly upsets Cleo, and Pierre keeps doing it. About a week ago, my father invited me, my husband, and our children for dinner at his place. He said he and Pierre had a surprise for the kids. Right before we left home, my younger sister, who still lives with our father, texted me. She warned me that the surprise was actually a small birthday party Pierre had planned for Cleo. That alone threw me off. That's really fucked up. Because my daughter's birthday was in November. My father did miss her actual birthday party due to work, but still. Also, my son turns 9 in March. So I had figured this would be the next party we'd have. Just to explain, this is in January. This
Okay.
was 9 days ago.
So it's
in
in
January. Her
and-
birthday was in November.
Okay.
So that, just to say, like, that's why it's weird. Because it wasn't,
Yeah.
like, close.
Talk about your surprise birthday party.
Yeah, I was like, surprise! A whole year early. Or a few months late.
Yeah, however you want to look at it.
Then she sent me photos of how the place was decorated. It very clearly wasn't actually meant for Cleo. Literally every piece of decor was pink. The table, the tableware, the balloons, everything. She'd gone pink banners and glued pink foil fringe curtains on the doors. Even the cake was pink. I showed everything to my husband, and we agreed not to take the kids there. I texted my father the following: "Hey, sister told me everything. Excuse me. We're not coming. We're taking the kids to McDonald's and telling them that was your surprise. You and Pierre can come if you want. You're paying. We're paying." We did exactly that, and my father did show up without Pierre, and he was cold with us and left 20 minutes after arriving. Both him and Pierre are pissed. My father is angry that my husband and I dismissed his partner's heartfelt gesture towards our daughter. Pierre also told me that I'm the reason Cleo is restrictive. I also don't like pink. And I'm raising her to be ungrateful, spoiled brat who is unwilling to compromise. To be honest, I get how I could be in the wrong here, but at the same time, this just felt like Pierre trying to push something on Cleo, to push something Cleo doesn't like onto her yet again. My sister and one of her brothers are on my side, though my sister did say I had been rude. My other brother is on the fence. Am I the asshole? A couple ads. My daughter doesn't know I dislike pink, nor would I care if she did like it. Edit, I have written an update, so there is an update after this. A separate post to sum up the comments I left here. So there's another update we can follow through.
So, the stepmother, Pierre.
Yeah, Pierre.
Whatever her name is.
I'm not good with pronunciations with names, okay? So
It's all good.
If you read the post later and I say it completely wrong, just ignore that.
So she is doing a little gaslighting, in my opinion, because she says it's the mother's reason why Cleo doesn't like pink. And yet she's trying to force pink, and
On
she's
her.
accusing the mother of taking away pink.
And being restrictive.
Yeah. So it's like, okay.
And not making her, what was it? One of the words she said, not making her branch out in colors. I'm like, really? That seems like it's a really weird. Kids typically have like things they don't or do not like.
Yeah, and it's not like, okay, first of all, it's a color. It's not a vegetable.
It's not a vegetable.
So it's not like you're pushing broccoli
and
on
your
the
kids
kid.
are gonna like what they want to like. I don't think it doesn't matter what you like. Because I remember when when I was pregnant with Lucy, I was like, I didn't really want a lot of pink stuff.
Yeah.
Because I not that I have anything against, ironically, as I'm wearing pink.
Yeah.
I don't have anything against makeup. I always hated, like, always all the pink for girls.
Right.
I didn't want her to be a pink bubble gum. But people gave me pink stuff, so I was like, whatever. And she loves pink. Pink's
She
her
does love
favorite
pink.
color. And so I buy pink stuff
But
all the time.
Annabelle's is purple or green?
Purple. Well, she likes purple and blue, but now she's also starting to like pink. So she's also kind of a pink kid right now.
Okay. And they go through phases.
They do. She used to be all about blue, and then she went for purple for a bit, and then now she's like, I want pink, 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 pink. And she's all about what Lucy wants.
So, and especially at 5, you're going to change.
You're going to change. Like, Lucy stayed pink forever. I don't know if that will change. Maybe as she gets older, but she's always been a pink head.
Yeah.
And maybe that will stay forever, but...
But, I mean, first of all, she's a stepmother, step-grandmother.
Yeah.
Butt out.
Or step-parent. They don't specify gender, so we shouldn't assume, but...
Step-parent, yeah.
Step-grandparent, I guess, or step-parent to the parent.
Because they're the partner of the father of the woman who's writing about her child. Cleo.
Yeah.
So, my first thing is butt the fuck out.
It does seem a little overstepping. And the fact that it seems weird to be doing a birthday party months after the fact.
Yeah, like, give the parents at least a heads up.
Yeah, like, hey, we're going to put on it would be one thing you're going to hang up a birthday party.
Because we missed it and we
missed
want
it,
to
we
do
just really
something
want to
special.
celebrate if that's okay.
Yeah.
It does still seem weird so long after.
Yeah, it does.
like
you say, it's either really late or very early.
It could be partly because, like, I don't know I don't think she specifies in November when her daughter's birthday is. So maybe it's at the end of November. Then December is like a crazy month because of Christmas and holidays. And then, beginning of January is crazy because this would have been this was 9 days ago. So it would have been the very end of January.
Yeah. And if the kid doesn't like pink, what's so hard to respect about that?
Yeah.
It
seems like a really weird thing.
Blue or green or whatever the favorite color.
It seems like a really weird thing to fixate on.
Well, it is, and it's such a weird thing to break a family up over.
Yeah, it's
because the 5-year-old doesn't like pink.
It's
and I'm not saying the parent is wrong. I think the parent probably was prudent.
I think
let's go to a neutral area.
Well, I think also,
and we'll celebrate there.
Yeah, I feel like if this was the first time she's done something like this and really forced the pink on, maybe I would have gone to the party. Yeah. But the fact that it was it's been years of gifts.
Yes.
So that's birthdays, Christmases, I don't know, whatever holidays you celebrate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of putting something, because she said every gift she's been given is some shade of pink. This is an ongoing. Yeah.
on
The
Christmas
story.
Story.
I love that one.
You know,
But
it's
she
like-
wants that though. She asked for that. I was like, I'll have to figure out how to
That's
make
hilarious.
that.
That's hilarious.
To figure out how to make that. But she
Yeah.
asked for it.
But clearly,
Clearly not
kid in that movie
would-
didn't ask for
no, and not sure Cleo would not either.
yeah, exactly. So I mean, again,
It
why
just- yeah.
is the step grandparent going out of their way to push Pink to inundate this child with every present
Yeah.
being Pink related? You know, like you're arguing with a 5-year-old.
Yeah, it makes me wonder if the partner has any children herself, or themselves.
Well, if she doesn't, she's living vicariously.
Well, that's exactly it. Yeah, I've seen other posts of this, like similar, being like trying to like step in, overstep, and like almost try and take on a parental role. Or
Yeah.
it seems weird too. Like, why are you so focused on the color? It's a very stereotype thing that girls like pink. And though, granted, my girls are very girly, and so they do feel like girl stereotypes. But
Yeah.
like, there's
But
a
like
lot
I
of things
say,
they do that aren't girly either. So
Yeah, and it's like, you know, if you knew that parent was feeding the Cleo, the child, nothing but Twinkies,
then yeah.
then you would bring her over and here, have a salad, have some protein, you know?
Vegetable, for God's sake.
Yeah, exactly. So that's different
Yeah.
than, you know, I want to impose
Some
my
type of-
likes and what
Well,
I think you should like.
Yeah, and stereotypes of like what, you know, a girl should want or like, or
And the fact that only the father showed up at McDonald's and now there's a riff.
well, yeah, because he was cold. He said he left 20 minutes after Ryman was cold.
Yeah.
They were both pissed.
Yeah.
So it's, you know,
So he's not recognizing that she's overstepping.
yeah, exactly. And you have to remember too, like your grandparents. You
Yeah.
know, there's a parent, which always has final say.
Yeah.
Grandparent, and like
And grandparents don't have rights.
Your grandparents have no rights.
And step grandparents especially don't have any rights.
No, unless like you're actively raising, because there are like things as grandparent rights, but like those come in within specific situations, and it's not
With
really so much for parent.
specific for
It's not,
parameters.
there's specific things for it, and there's like certain circumstances, and that doesn't negate that now you get to parent. It doesn't overstep. It's more
Yeah.
so like if it would be detrimental for your child if you didn't see them. It's not now they get to then take an active parental role in your
Yeah.
kid, unless like, you know, some parents do raise their
Because like I
grandkids,
know of a couple of cases where someone is not seeing their grandchild and the parent has taken the grandchild out
Yeah.
of their life and they have every right to do that. There's nothing like you can't go to court and demand it. In fact, a couple of them that I know have gone to court and been told no, sorry.
You can. That's not true for everything. That might
No.
just be the situation. You can. It can't. You can. Especially if you've been an active role in the kid's life.
Well, especially if you've been in a more caregiver.
If you've been a
Care-
caregiver or if you've been an active role in their, like if you've seen them, like for instance, if like the girl's grandma Diane, if we like decide to set up contact, she probably could sue for grandparent rights because she's seen them every week since they were like alive.
Right.
You know, she doesn't take an active role necessarily in their parenting.
I think she'd have an uphill battle though, because she's not related by blood.
No, I'm just not negating. Oh, that wasn't a coin. I was just using example.
Right.
So that
Oh,
wasn't
okay,
in my
okay.
discussion.
I mean, you're not taking them away from her.
No,
anytime
I
soon
was just
anyways,
using
yeah.
an example.
Oh,
of
I
like,
see. I see.
Of what would make sense. So it would be she's been an active part of their life.
Right.
It would be detrimental to them to be pulled away from her.
Yeah.
Because she's played a huge role in their life and sees them on a weekly basis,
Well, yeah.
if not more.
Because I'm a big believer in the larger, like it takes a village to raise a child, and the more people that love and want to care for your children, the better your children will
Yeah.
be. You know, and it's always good for a child to know that there's safe places they can go to.
Yeah.
You know, regardless. Like,
Yeah.
God forbid something happened at home, they know 3 places right in town where they could go and be brought in and
Yeah.
have a haven.
No, exactly.
And
Um,
yeah, so I mean that's not creating that safety or that haven either.
no. Well, obviously they've done this wrong. We don't know, but that's just a snippet. But obviously it's been a big enough issue where they don't want to.
Yeah, so what's the update?
I'm just going to the update now.
Okay.
So let me get to that.
So I guess
this was 20 Oh wait, this was 20 hours ago. So not even 24
wow.
hours this update occurred.
Okay.
First of all, I should specify she was deemed not the asshole in the
Yes.
first one, which I
And
think
in
is,
our opinion too.
I think it's fair, 100%. It's a little rude, but at the same time, the step grandparent didn't tell them that the party was happening, and it seems weird to like have it so much long after.
I think it's good that she drew the boundaries.
It's important to
Could
do
she
so.
have used a little more diplomacy? Probably.
Yeah.
But she's not in the wrong.
That being said, though, she did give an olive branch. Like, I heard what's happening. We're going to McDonald's. We're saying that's a surprise. We're paying. You're welcome to join.
Yes.
So she did give out an olive branch. She
Yeah.
did give a solution, saying this isn't going to happen, but
Yeah.
here's what we're okay with.
Absolutely.
So, first of all, I apologized to my sister a few hours after I made my original post. I'm very grateful for what she did, but I'll do my best to keep her away from these conflicts moving forward. Thank you for those who defended her.
That's fair. Yeah.
That is fair. Like, sister's trying to give you a heads up. It's not really,
Yeah.
Secondly, I went through your comments with my husband, and our main takeaway was that we did what we had to do to protect Cleo, even if it wasn't what we do in most circumstances. Had either of us been surprised that the party decorated was something we openly hated, we would have sucked it up and ignored it. It sucks, but we're adults and it comes with the territory. Cleo, however, is 5 years old. She won't deal with this the same way, nor would we expect her to. Knowing my daughter, she would have been miserable at the party, so ultimately we don't regret not taking her there. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, kids will openly be like, well, I don't like this. Why did you
It
do
would have
that?
become a smash room. She'd be tearing shit down.
Yeah, or like depending on what your kid is, like, they might like miserable. She might have just been moping in the corner.
Yeah,
And, like,
yeah.
and then that would be even worse. She'd be like, aren't you like? Then that would be empathize the step parents, grandparents think like, well, they're ungrateful, they're spoiled because they're not
Yes.
happy with what I've done. So just give them more.
Well, she already thinks she's spoiled.
Well, that's exactly. I
Yeah.
said just give her more ammunition
Yes.
for that kind of perspective, for that attitude towards her step grandchild. On Saturday, we took the kids to spend the afternoon at my brother's place with their cousins. In the meantime, we invited my father and Prue to talk.
Oh, okay.
My husband and I told them we want them to abide by the following. 1, no more surprise parties without our knowledge and approval. I think that's pretty fair.
That is fair.
I think that's a normal thing.
Yeah, you can surprise the child, but you don't necessarily have to
Surprise the parent. 2, no more pushing the color pink on Cleo, including pink gifts. And 3, no more calling our children spoiled for being allowed to dislike something.
Yeah.
If they didn't agree to our terms, we would no longer take the kids to their place, and there would be a good chance we'd lower our contact with them in the future. Pierre didn't say anything at first. My father tried to argue that we should at least thank her for the party, but I said no. I told him the problem wasn't that Pierre threw a party for my daughter that was dedicated to her own interests. It was that she specifically chose something she knows my daughter hates and centered everything around it. We wouldn't thank her and we wouldn't apologize. That's when Prue chimed in. She tried to tell us we were raising our daughter to be a brat again. So I asked, why are you so insistent on pink? She didn't answer at first, but then she said she knew Cleo did love pink. She just didn't know it yet.
Oh my God.
Apparently she's
my
a mind reader of a 5-year-old.
Yeah.
And yet to that I asked, why would you be this pushy if it was about any other color? Would you be this pushy if it was about any other color?
Mm-hmm.
Prue tried to say that it didn't matter, but when my husband asked her if she cared if Cleo hated blue, she said she doesn't need to like blue. He replied that she didn't need to like pink either. He told Prue that she had no right to decide what Cleo should and shouldn't like. Cleo hates pink, and if she can't be an adult and respect that, then she doesn't need to be around our children.
Mm-hmm.
In the end, my father and Pure agreed to our terms. I'm not confident about her. I mean, she already immediately went right into it after you already told her your boundaries.
Yeah.
But I did speak with my father. I said I know that he has a hard time saying no to Pure, and that he will ruin his relationship. But he will ruin his relationship with me and my children if he keeps enabling his partner. My father promised he wouldn't let this happen again. I hope this works out. Cleo's a great kid, and I hope my father and Pierre can finally start seeing that. Thank you all for everything. So it's like, yeah, 100% she's buying more pink shit. She's not going to drop it. When she already was like, even after you set those clear.
argumentative
Yeah, as soon
about
as you
it.
already said the boundaries, she immediately She
push.
clearly has like I suspect she has some type of delusion in her head of how this
Well,
grandchild should
she's
be.
vicious too, because
Yeah.
she goes right in and says the kid's spoiled because she can't change her life.
Yeah, you're saying yeah. She was already saying, well, you're treating her, you're raising her to be a brat.
And it's like, I'd be like, who the fuck are you to call my kid a brat?
Yeah.
Get the hell out of my house.
Yeah,
Right?
I would definitely have some issues.
Yeah. And my knee-jerk anger reaction would be, get away from me,
Yeah.
because you are becoming a detriment to me and my child.
Yeah, well, eventually, yeah, because like it's about color pink now, but what's it going to be next?
Yeah.
Where she does start to like pink, oh great, but
Is
what's
she also going to say she needs to wear dresses? all
Yeah,
the
she
time?
needs to wear
And
dresses.
She loves dresses.
yeah, or like oh maybe she like some sort, or like she can't do sports, she has to, I don't know, do ballet or something. Like what's
yeah.
going to be the next thing that she now
That
fixates
she
on?
deems appropriate.
Exactly.
Again, she has no right to say anything like that.
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. So it's very it's interesting for sure.
And your job as a grandparent is to love the grandchild.
Yeah.
And that's like, it's so easy. You can spoil them, you can love them, you can give them the candy they don't get from their parents. Like, it's such a freeing experience, right?
Yeah.
Because when you guys were younger, I had to be the parent, and I had to, make sure you ate your peas and your carrots and things, and
Well, I was good at that.
say no to say no to the candy that every kid wants all
I
the
was
time.
gonna say the kids love candy. Yeah.
Yeah, and as the grandparent, you could do
You
the,
could do that. Yeah.
yeah, and it's like, okay,
I know.
so
Anytime, like sometimes Diane will be like, "Oh, they had too much candy." Like, it's fine. You're the grandparent. You're
Yeah,
allowed to.
that's what you're supposed
You're
to
allowed
do.
to spoil them. This is your These are your grandkids. You can spoil them all you want.
yeah, exactly.
It's me who has to make sure I tell them no when they're at home.
Exactly.
And sometimes I'm not so good.
Well, it's hard. It's hard being a parent because
Yeah.
you do have to
You have to
put the boundaries and structures up for
Yeah,
your children
yeah.
to operate within, teach them how to be contributing citizens and
Be
how
functional
be
adults, ideally, in the
functional
future.
adults. Exactly. But as the grandparent, all that responsibility for
is gone.
is mostly gone.
Yeah.
Right?
You just have to make sure they don't kill themselves. Is the
Yeah,
main
yeah.
concern.
I mean, there's times when I've corrected the girls, like, "Oh, don't run in the streets,"
yeah,
or
like
whatever.
when it comes to safety.
Yeah,
I feel like I do that at the bus stop though too. Sometimes I'm like, there's like times the kids are like, do something. I'm like, why isn't the parent safe?
yeah, right.
Stop doing that. It's dangerous.
Exactly. Oh my gosh. But and gone are the days of you must be seen and not heard kind of thing. But your girls are very well behaved.
Yeah, I hear that all the time about how amazing my kids are.
Well, we've seen at different functions some kids, and it's mostly an adult type function, but the little ones are out of fucking control.
Yeah.
And yet you and Marcel were always such good kids in public. Mm-hmm. Annabelle and Lucy are good
Very
kids,
good kids in public. Yeah. The most rare they get is usually at like the family stuff on your side because they're all with their cousins.
Well, the cousins,
and we let them
yeah.
have free range. But even still, they're the first ones to listen when we tell them don't do something.
Yes.
They're always the first ones to just listen.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, no, I always hear that. Anytime I go to the school, always the teachers like they are the sweet because there's like some teachers that go through and Madame K is one of them and she's had like been with Lucy and Annabelle through most of their classes.
Yeah.
And she's like, they are so sweet. Because it was funny, the one day I went with Lucy to like a field trip, and she was kind of getting whiny because we had like, they went skating, so we walked there. They did skating, to walk back. So she was getting, getting tired. It was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot, and it was during one of, like just after that one big snow like storm we had. So it was a lot of snow. So we're walking through thick snow too.
Right.
So the girl was tired. I don't blame her. So she was kind of getting whiny. But the one, like two of the teachers who were there often, like, I've never heard her whine. Like it was so bizarre because it's like they're like, oh, she's really different with her mom. Like I don't think I've ever heard her whine. She's like, she's always so sweet. I'm like, yeah, I hear that. I mean, they are sweet with me too.
Yeah.
But like, people talk about how good they are about cleaning up. They're the first to listen to rules. They always are super helpful. Yeah. Like they always listen. Like,
and I always heard the same thing about you and Marcel.
Yeah.
Like people will come up and go, they're so polite, and you know they do everything that they're told to do.
Yeah.
And, you know, and
Don't even
sometimes
have to tell them.
Yeah.
The girls get that too. I don't even have to tell them. They just know what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
Like,
and
bring
and
that
we're
home.
not like using switches at home to keep them in
No.
line, you know. But you know, we again we set up the structure and
Yeah.
the boundaries, and you know, you can run and play in this section, and you know, this is what we do when we go out. We're helpful to people,
Yeah.
kind to people.
I'm pretty
and-
lax, I think, once we get home. Home is when,
Yeah.
that's when they go, whoop. But I always, like, we always talk to other parents, like, if your kid can, like, unmask and just be themselves, and, like, are
yes.
basically almost little terrors, then you must be doing something right, because they're safe to be like
yeah,
that at
they feel
home.
safe to do that. Yeah,
It's
because you
just
guys did the
exhausting,
same thing.
yeah.
When once you guys got home, the
Yeah.
mask came off, and
You know, didn't have to be polite, didn't have to listen, didn't have to do anything we're supposed to, didn't have to clean.
yeah,
Sounds
and
like my children.
I know like it was a haven, you know, and
Yeah.
a true like I just want to, you know,
Yeah,
like
I
from
just
the
want to
world.
just relax and not have
Yeah.
to do anything.
Yeah, exactly. And no parent's perfect. We all screw up
Oh
our kids
yeah,
in one
I think
way or
it's
another.
guaranteed that you're gonna mess up your kids in some way.
Yeah, there's always going to be some little thing that,
You kind
know.
of do quirk or
yeah, 'cause we all
behavior,
have them.
emotion. Yeah,
Exactly. No one's
we're all
perfect.
working on ourselves. We're all just projects in the process.
And as long as you give them the freedom to work on their own projects of themselves,
Yeah,
then you know, great. And parents try to often overcorrect, and I know sometimes parents live vicariously through their children.
yeah.
And
I mean, there's
they
always a-
impose things on their children.
There's levels of worseness. There's levels of
Yeah.
like. There's like the normal level that all parent, even when they're trying to be good intention, will
Yes.
slightly mess with their kid. And then there's, you know, you progressively get worse and worse when you. Reconnected.
Oh, okay.
It was weird. It kind of disconnected,
All
but
right.
all right, we seem okay.
Okay.
But there's like different levels, and then there's like, you know, you get worse and worse to the point where like now maybe you're actively, you know what you're doing, and
Yeah.
you're actively
like
trying to
pushing
harm your child. And,
child into a sport that they don't like to play, and but you wanted to be the Wayne Gretzky, or you
Yeah.
wanted to be the Tiger Woods, and so therefore you pushed your child so hard.
I really try not to do that. The only time I push is when I know that they're going to be happy. Like,
Yeah.
okay, I know if you do this, you'll be happy
Yes.
in the end.
but
I'm
it's recognizing when
yeah.
that is,
Because
right?
like I have a lot of anxiety, so I'm like I know I let myself not do a lot of things because I got scared to do stuff. So I'm like
Right.
I know that you want to do this, and I just need you to push. Like
Yeah, because essentially what you're trying to do is not have your anxiety rub off on them.
that's exactly it, right? So I know I'm like like the only like when they go on to sport things and other things like that, we've never let them skip. Like we don't skip. They don't skip school. They don't skip activities or anything.
And
They'll-
Lucy's very active.
she's extremely active.
She needs the activity.
She does. She does. She's like a golden retriever in a child. Like she could just go. Like she has so much energy, and when you think you've run her ragged,
She's
she's
still
still
ready to go.
going.
Yeah.
Like I've spent time like because Ian doesn't like the cold, but I don't mind. Like I can stand the cold for enough time as long as I'm warm enough.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, let's go to like the hill, and you can go tobogganing. Now Annabelle is not. She's a homebody. And she
Yeah,
doesn't like being in
Annabelle's
the-
a lot more chill.
Yeah, she doesn't like being in the cold as much. So she'll do it for like 15 minutes tops, and then I just throw her in the car with my phone, and
Right.
she's just happy as a clam.
Right.
Lucy can go for 2+ hours going down the hill over and over and over, and she'll still get home and still be full of energy and
Right.
like dancing and running around. I'm like, it never ends.
Well,
got
it'll
so
serve
much
her well later in life.
Oh yeah, she definitely has
I
like
hope
a,
she keeps that energy level.
I think she gets that from Ianda. Like Ianda has, he has to because of how much he does. Like he's
Yeah.
long days.
Yeah. But they're
she-
self-imposed long days.
They're self-imposed long days, yeah. Well, except
and
for when
he's
he's
got
doing
the-
a gig. When he's doing a gig, he can't help that. But
No, but I mean, he's taken on 3 or 4
well,
jobs.
he's now down to
because-
2. He's down
Yeah,
to 2.
he's down to 2.
His business.
But he's
and
also, a good dad.
he's also very yeah. He's a very good dad.
And he's got the energy level for it.
yeah,
right?
he's a very active dad. He's very involved. He like runs around with them.
Yeah.
Like, and he's always a dad that runs around. Like so,
Right.
like when we take in the summer, oftentimes there's a lot of kids in our neighborhood, so we often like take a bunch of kids to the park. And so
Right.
sometimes there'll be like just us, or sometimes there'll be other parents. But oftentimes it's Ianda who's taking all the kids, and then he runs over and over and over and over. And he does get tired. He doesn't be like, okay, I'm gonna take a break. But like he's running, like he's getting them going. So like
that's hilarious.
he's got the energy for it. When mom goes, they know mom is not running.
Yeah,
I train them very early at home. Like you
guys
play at the park,
Yeah.
and mom sits and watches so that no one harms themselves. But mom
I do the same thing when they come over.
Yeah, I'm just a supervisor.
Yep.
Like if obviously they need help with something, like obviously when they're toddlers, obviously I was up
Yes,
and about.
yes.
But like once they got to the point where like, okay, you're safe, I can like step back. I'm like, okay, mom's sitting here, I read my book. If you need a snack, you need a drink, something's happening, I'll help you. Because I was talking to another mom about that, because her husband's been like that, because they're always like, oh, come run with me. So every time I had to take them to the park, he always has to run. Because he's now conditioned that he'll run with them throughout the park.
That's hilarious.
But they know with mom, like, oh, mom just sits.
Right,
We
so
don't bug mom about
they don't have to do running.
Yeah.
But they've trained Ianda to do
They've
running.
trained
him, not the other way around.
Exactly. Like there's some things I'll do with them, but like I do other stuff. So like, in the summer I make sure I get like all the water balloons. So
Yeah.
they know like there's certain things about mom
You're
does
good
that
at
dad
organizing.
organizing stuff. Like dad wouldn't do the same things that I would do.
Yeah.
But I won't do the same thing dad does. We complement each other.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just their birthday party, even. Like
Yeah.
all the extra work you did, because of course she had to do the extra work.
Never not do the extra work.
So, that's like Ianda wouldn't have done that.
No, he would probably be a lot more chill. He helps, so he's a good supporting person, and he's great for the day. Like I love having him there. He's super good.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Like he's great for that kind of stuff. And anytime I'm like, okay, I need this, I need that. Okay, got this. Good, get it.
Yeah,
Don't worry.
yeah.
He's a good gopher.
I was
on
just
those
going to
days.
say he's a good gopher for that. And gophers really help a lot to alleviate any stress.
It does. Like I know, like okay, all I have to do is make sure I have the food made, the craft done, decorations, activity, whatever we're doing, and I just need to tell him like, okay, this is the stuff that we need to get together, or this is what I need you to bring, or this is what I need you to get, like,
Yeah.
and then like it's that way. A lot of it's like off my
And
plate.
you've learned when you do an activity, you need to have an extra backup activity, because it's amazing how fast they go through the
They
activities.
do go through. I've learned though, if you just have a bunch of balloons,
Yeah.
kids love balloons.
Yeah.
You just need balloons and music.
There
and
you go.
kids will be entertained endlessly.
Oh, there
You
you
don't
go.
need to do a whole lot. Like kids find a way to entertain themselves. They're very naturally imaginative, creative.
Well, that's good. That's good. That's a good sign. Right?
Yeah, so-
if a kid has to be structured through everything,
yeah,
that's
I don't have any issues. So anytime like I always have like at one activity.
Mm-hmm.
And then, like, for this year, it was like I got, like, cotton bags and markers, and then they sprayed them with rubbing alcohol and made, like, this pretty beautiful, like, watercolor print on these bags I could take home. And then they used that bags also. I did technically have a second activity because the kids really wanted
you had a pinata.
a pinata, or piana is how the kids like to pronounce it.
Piana.
Piana.
Get us one of those pianas.
Pianas. They always say pianas. I'm like, pinatas? They're like, pianas. I'm like, no, that's not it. Very close. So close. Pianas. Because all their friends' parties often are warm enough where they can be outside
Oh, okay.
and have a pinata.
Right.
I almost said pianas. One time sometimes you say a word so often that you
start saying it.
You
Yeah.
start saying it, or you don't remember. Like they said piano so often that when I start to correct them, I'm like, I don't know now if I'm saying it right or wrong. Like you've made me say it so often now.
Well, when you were little, you were about 5 or 6. I got you into ballet.
Yes, I always tell the kids this one. Yeah.
Yes, and you for a long time called it Bally Bee.
Bally Bee. Yep.
So when she had to get ready, I would say, "Okay, it's almost time for Bally Bee," because I started calling it
Yeah,
what you called it.
you do that with your kids do.
And you had to put on your long leaves. That's what you
Longlies.
called
Oh,
your.
I forgot about the long leaves.
So you would put on your long leaves for Bally Bee.
Did I ever tell you that one time when me and Ida were out and about, we saw a license plate that said Bally Bee?
Oh,
And
really?
we took a picture and I was pointing at it like, Bally Bee! I was like, that's so funny. I think Ida has a picture of it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But yeah, I did a pinata. I almost said piano again. Like I literally, it's so in my head now. Because all their friends did it. So I had to find a way to do it for indoors because we're in a dance studio with mirrors. So there's no swinging of bats happening there.
Oh gosh,
And
no.
it happens although that year was this last year, the October was actually really nice out. We could have probably done an outdoor one, but
Right.
you can't know because
No.
October is such a weird month.
It is.
It could be hot, it could be cold, it could be rainy.
Yeah.
You don't
it's
know.
like April and October are both the same.
Yeah.
They're rainy. You can get snow.
Oh, it can
you
be
can have
hot.
sunny days. It's like,
Yeah, you could be wearing shorts one day and then wearing your winter jacket the next. Like you don't
Absolutely.
know what the weather's
Yeah.
going to be. So
Yeah.
we just had a pull thing. Although I had 3 sections, and even though I did kind of test it, it wasn't enough. So eventually I just went shh, and I ripped it, so it went everywhere.
Oh, that's
It took
hilarious.
forever to make that thing.
But very inventive to do the pull thing.
Yeah, you can get the ribbons and pull, and you did different sections. I think if I did, I would have just made the base bigger and made the holes larger.
Right.
Because I think I stuffed that thing. There was so much candy.
That's what you were saying. I remember that.
It was heavy.
Yeah.
It was
yeah.
so heavy. Like I had a handle,
Mhm.
and it ripped the handle off because it was so heavy. So and it was like well done. Like I was like, okay, this should be a sturdy enough handle. It was not. It was not. So thankfully, I just had to hold it. It was a mermaid tail.
Oh, okay.
So he just held it up really high, and the kids took turns pulling it.
That's
But it didn't
hilarious.
come out. Like when they finally pulled on, like, well, it doesn't come out. Like, darn it, I thought I tested this. Anyway, so eventually I just whoosh.
Well, it's hard to test a pinata
It is.
because, like, unless you're ready to destroy it.
Exactly.
So you were on a steep learning curve.
Steep learning curve. Yeah, I watched some videos and I had learned some stuff, and I thought for sure I have it. I think my problem was I just really stuffed it.
Yeah, you overstuffed
If I
it,
had if it had been less stuffed, I think it would have been fine.
Okay.
But because I filled it to the brim,
Right.
and I made sure the kids got a lot. I made sure my kids got a lot. I was like, I tried to make it as even as I could because I was like, okay, because I think we counted it. I'm like, every kid should have about this many pieces.
10 pieces, I think you said.
Yeah, 10 or 12 pieces. And I think we sold extras, but I was like, we'll do a little less and then we can give out more in the loot bags. But, because I was telling it, because initially I wanted to do little bags because we've had friends who do bags. And so when the pinata is open, then each kid gets a bag. And then
Oh,
and
that's
I'm like, oh,
smart.
that's nice. It's fair and equal. Because, like, there's kids who are really fast.
Yeah.
And who get a lot of candy, and then you're left with kids who don't get any candy.
Yeah, I have 2 pieces. Whoa.
And like I think that's awful.
Yeah,
Like,
I know,
like
right?
life isn't fair and not, but like that's
Not
just
everyone
like
gets a
not
participation
But
ribbon.
like that's a shitty thing. Like let's not let that happen. And my
Yeah.
kids are pretty fast. Annabelle not as fast,
But
but Lucy.
Lucy,
I was
oh.
like Lucy makes up for it. So when she like and they often go to birthday parties together. So Lucy cleans house, and then when they come home, I make them divvy it out.
So Annabelle is actually the smarter one. She sends Lucy in.
Yeah, like Annabelle's pretty fast though too, and
No,
she's
no, I'm
sneaky.
just-
she's
Yes,
sneaky.
I can see that.
And so she gets things a lot of people don't even notice.
Yeah. She reminds me a lot of my dad. Because my dad, God love him, he was the nicest man you'd meet.
Yeah.
But he could be sneaky when he wanted to be.
Yeah.
And her whole, like, you know, I'm standing where I want to stand and doing what I want to do.
Yeah.
My dad was very much like
Yeah,
that.
she's definitely-
when it came down to the
She's-
hilt.
Yeah. When it like there's something she'll be willing to like sacrifice on, but if
Yeah.
it's something she wants, she's like, no, she will die on that hill.
Yeah.
And you cannot get her off of it.
Yes.
She is so stubborn. It's
Yeah.
like exhausting.
Yeah, because you could, as much as my mom was intimidating and she could be, well, she was abusive, but you could move her.
Yeah.
But my dad, no. Once
Yeah.
he decided, like you said, once he decided he wanted to be on this hill, he's dying
Yeah.
on it, you know? And
Yeah, I think it's hard because I think all of us in my family, like in our household, is like we're all pretty stubborn in certain different ways.
right.
But it's hard when we clash together when we're
Yes.
both being stubborn. So that's I find a lot of the times when the girls clash is because they're both being stubborn and they're
Oh,
like
yeah.
neither like we're both going to be on this hill and we're both dying on this
Yeah.
hill and you will have to go.
We're gonna die together as they strangle each other.
Basically. And I'm like, oh my god. And it's always over silly things. And
Yeah.
you try not to be like, it's just a stupid thing, what does it matter?
Yes.
Which I still say sometimes, but I have to remind myself, like, well, for them it's not silly, but even though it is.
Yes,
But in the
yes.
moment for them, this is life or death.
Right,
Literally.
right. But it's also teaching them that this is silliness.
silly, yeah.
Yeah, like why are we carrying over you know, like whatever, the Barbie doll or the squishy or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
Usually the iPad.
The iPad.
iPad.
Yeah. I can
Or
see
the
that.
seat on the damn couch. We have a whole sectional couch, and I have my spot on one of the couch, and then there's a cushion between my spot and the rest of the couch.
Well,
And they always want to be on that spot, and they fight.
Yeah.
Technically, it is big enough for both of them. They still fight over the damn thing. It's
Well, I was there one time and they made popcorn in the microwave.
yeah.
And they were fighting over who got to press the button.
Yes, they like to push the buttons.
And it was just, and they were fighting to the death. Like
Yeah.
Lucy was just like, no fucking way.
it's hard to, because like
And Annabelle, good thing she didn't have a switchblade because she would have used it.
Oh yeah. Annabelle would murder you in your sleep. She's like, Lucy is like much more confrontational, like in the moment, like very
Yeah.
front forward. She's very like blunt, very like
But
in
she's
your face
physical, like,
direct.
she'll really push
She's
you.
very physical. She's very
But
strong
Annabelle's
too.
not that way. Like I could see her going and getting a kitchen utensil to.
Oh, she's definitely
beat Lucy
she's,
with.
she's definitely used things to hit her with. It'd be like, it just slipped out of my hand, Mom. It was an accident. I was just stretching my legs.
Like, what do you mean
Like,
the frying
there's
pan
always like
landed in her
some
face?
excuse
Yeah,
of
exactly.
why she hit her with something, either her body part or an item. She was trying to grab on my hand and just slipped out.
Yeah.
Like there's always
It's her fault that it flew into her
yeah,
face.
like Lucy is less likely. Lucy does sometimes throw stuff, but she's less likely. She's more like, I will just like.
She's the wrestler.
Lucy is a wrestler, and she's
Yeah.
got the weight and strength behind her.
Yeah,
She's really
100%.
She's really strong.
It's like
Lucy's really
do you remember
freakishly strong.
our Basset Hound Groucho?
Yeah.
When he would get his nails trimmed, he wouldn't bark, but he didn't want it done. And we called him the silent wrestler because he could twist and he would turn.
Yeah.
We were at a thing where they were raising money for the Humane Society or
Okay.
something. So he was getting his nails clipped. And one of the people that was doing it, who was like a vet assistant, I think.
Okay.
And myself, and I think Marcel may have been there too. And between the three of us, and we got up after the first two paws, and we're like, okay, we don't have to worry about the second pause, like the second set, because we had just wrestled to try and hold him.
Sleeper hold.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I was getting worried. I'm like especially Marcel, because of course he's strong, right? And I'm like,
You
don't
squeeze him too
don't
hard, you want to
break
hurt him.
him. It's just like, but all three of us were standing around Groucho going, you know, it's like, okay, the first two paws are done. Don't even worry about the
Yeah.
second. Here's the money for the
Yeah.
donation.
Thanks for doing this first set. We'll just hopefully we'll just put them on a pavement and walk around a few times for the next one.
Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah, he was having none of that. And
Yeah.
like when I brought in all 4 dogs, so I had 4 dogs at one point. I had Larry, the Beagle Jack Russell mix.
Yeah.
I had Groucho, the Basset Hound, and also known as the Silent Wrestler. And then I had Lucy, Great
You
Pyrenees.
still the hunter at that point?
No, I had Buddy, my Great Pyrenees.
Buddy, right.
So Larry went in, and Larry was a little yippy. He was like, kind of thing. Okay, fine. And then they took Groucho in, and you could tell, like you could hear so he was wrestling on the table. They got him done, and they came out panting.
You should really leave that poor dog to the end.
And then they took Lucy in, because they were going from smallest to biggest for some reason. They thought probably the biggest was going to be the worst. So Lucy went in, and Lucy, all I heard was her barking and them saying, "No, Lucy, no, Lucy, no." That's all I heard. Then she came out, they got her done, and then they brought Buddy in. And of course,
Buddy was probably the sweetest one.
well, he was big. He was 170 pounds, give or take.
Yeah, but he was such a sweetheart.
He was a
I
sweetheart.
bet he probably like pooped on
Well,
them though.
they were a little like with the other 3. They were wondering, well, fuck, what's this big one gonna give us? And they said, Buddy got up on the table. They got him up, and he went like this,
I was gonna say he would definitely be like just.
and he went like this, and then he was like, and now the back, and the other back.
It's like you cannot judge a dog by its looks. Because I was going to say, I bet Buddy was the best.
He
I
was the best and the easiest.
I was going to say he'd be the most accommodating because he was an accommodating dog when he was around. He was like a
was very
sweetheart.
much so.
The only time it was hard to walk him was when he got excited about something. He didn't always know his strength, so you didn't always hold him.
And he got excited and wanted to chase school buses.
School buses. He liked. I know, like it too is tricky when I walked because I usually try not to walk him on the road for that reason.
Yes.
So I usually walked him down the path, and because like the person that lived down there never came, so I'm like, if they do, I'm more like, oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Play ignorance. I have a big dog. What you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
But he would always like if he caught the scent of something.
Yeah.
He'd always want like, and he'd be like, no, I'm not going into this thicket of brushes right now.
Exactly. And it was funny because like when a school bus would come, I'd take him down into the ditch, and I'd brace myself.
You'd
and
have
even
to.
then, you're like using all your strength just to keep him back.
He was like two people, like strength, like strong. Like he was
two big men.
Two men strong. He was a really strong. And he was a puppy still.
Yeah.
He was a really strong dog.
Yeah. But he loved the car. That's the only way. Like, he escaped twice. And the only way I could get him back home was I'd drive down there to wherever it was, and I would open the door, and he would come bounding.
The car!
The car! He loved it. And when I drove in the car, of course, he would drive in the back seat.
Yeah, well, he only fit in the back seat.
Yeah. And the window was down because he liked to put his head out. But his head would come like right next to me, and I'd look over and there would be Buddy, and I'd be like, oh, hello.
Like, how far are you?
Well, he wasn't that far up, which is crazy.
He had a very long neck, I'll be honest.
But people in Napanee, where I lived at that point, would talk about the big dog.
Yeah.
The big white dog.
Big white dog.
Have you seen the big white dog? He became a little famous for a little while.
Yeah.
Because, of course, they would see him head to head with me.
I know.
But he's on the outside and I'm on the inside.
Murphy loved Buddy.
Yes,
They played well. Which is so funny because Murphy does not like dogs usually. Murphy likes dogs that are bigger than him, which is I think why he liked Buddy so much.
Right.
He does well with bigger dogs because Murphy's never been. I've tried for years to try and get him to have dogs sniff his butt.
Mm-hmm.
He needs a dog that's just so big he can't avoid them. Like
right.
a small dog, he'll yell at them.
I'll sniff the whole of you.
Yeah, because like I've tried, being like, okay, so like, it's like that's what you do, but he wants to sniff their butt. I'm like, you can't sniff their butt and not let them sniff your butt. That's not how this works.
That's like half a hand.
But bigger dogs, he's okay with. It's like as if he instantly becomes like demure. Like,
right.
Oh, okay, you're bigger. I can't do anything.
Or he's like, yeah, we're on the same level.
Yeah, probably that. Because anytime there's a dog his size or smaller, you can no.
No, he's ready to kill them.
Even like a medium-sized dog, he's like no.
No, yeah.
I tried for years to get him socialized, and it's hard though because so many people separate too. It's
yes.
Like, well, how am I supposed to socialize my dog
if you won't come near my dog?
Like, he needs to learn. Please help him learn. I tried for years.
Yes.
It nothing.
And Murphy has such an interesting story. Like, he was given to me by a lady moving out of an apartment building.
Yeah.
She just randomly came up to me in the street and handed him to me.
Yeah.
And he was he's still with us.
Yes,
but he's such a sweetheart.
He is such a sweetheart.
You know, and it's like, and you took him when you left.
I took him when he left, yeah, because Hunter was having issues. So.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be temporary, and then it turned
permanent.
It's just fine. He's fine. He's an old man.
Yeah,
I feel like he had a really rough life though, because like the cats are like in better condition than him.
Right.
And he's the youngest of the animals.
Oh,
but
really?
But I think he just had such a rough.
I think he had a rough beginning.
I think he rough beginning, and I feel like that like really. I don't know what kind of detriment.
Well,
of what happened.
The lady that gave him to me, they were moving out of an apartment that was in a rougher part of the world.
Yeah.
And it's a rougher part of the city, actually. And she was talking to me like, if you don't take him, I'm just going to leave him in the apartment for someone to find.
And she already took him because someone else was going to dump him.
Yes.
So, and he wasn't, I remember when he got him, he's a Lhasa Apso, so he just grows his hair. Mm-hmm. And he was just super, super long. And they never washed him. You could tell he'd probably never been groomed.
Yeah.
Never been washed.
Yeah, because he was pretty matted up.
He was
wasn't
pretty matted up, and even to this day, he has a really hard time with baths and
we
grooming.
always make fun of him. He always looks like he's a homeless dog.
Well, even when I give him a bath and he looks so nice, he's good for like an hour, and then he goes back to Muppet. I'm like, what?
I come over when you've just finished washing
I know,
him.
and he
it's
looks
like he still looks homeless.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you do. He always looks a little homely.
Like he looks like Groucho. Not Groucho. Oscar the Grouch.
Oh yeah, that's a very apt description. It does not take long for him to get like gross again.
Yeah.
And he's also at the point where he's an old man.
Yeah.
So he gets old man smell. So
Yeah.
you wash him, he smells like old man again. It's like he smells nice for maybe 20 minutes.
Right.
Then you're like, great. And they're like, did I just wash you? Why are you stinky again?
Yeah.
Like, I just cleaned you. I try and give him a bath every week now because it seems to be better for him. But
right.
it still doesn't mask quite the old man. But he can't hear very well. He has like cataracts, so his eyes aren't very good.
Oh,
He
okay.
can see a little bit,
Yeah.
but you can tell he can't see much because he'll walk right into stuff.
Right,
I'm
I've
like,
seen
and
that too.
I've tried to be like, okay, no, we're going this way. He'll fight you though. He'll fight you. He's so stubborn. He's such an old man. He's like, no, we're going this way. I'm like, you cannot hear. You cannot see. His smell is fine. He smells great.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they ever lose that.
I know that he's never lost it. It's only since that he has.
Right.
He can't lose it.
Right.
But I'll be like, no, you can't go that way. You have to go this. No.
Yeah, Larry was a
he
little
thinks-
like that.
He thinks he knows. And I'm
Yeah,
like, you
Larry
can't.
thought he was in charge.
The number of times that dog has walked into a car because he cannot see, or a tree or a person.
And we're talking a parked car.
A parked car. It's a parked car. It's usually just in our driveway. He has a very weird obsession with trying to go into our neighbor's back in like driveway.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
know why he wants to go there. He always wants to poop there. It's so annoying. Stop pooping over there. Just poop closer.
Yeah, why is this the poop area?
I know. And like, yeah, I tried to like retrain him on walking, and that was horrible. It was
Oh.
stressful for him. It was stressful for me.
Like,
It was a stressful.
He's too old. Just let him walk where he's going to walk.
That's exactly it. I was just like, we're just gonna keep you in the front yard and backyard because he doesn't like to walk very much anyways. He gets tired.
Oh.
He'll sit and be like, and then I'm like, are you tired? I'll be like, we have to keep going. I'm like, no. So then I had to pick him up. So I'm like, I can't.
Do
Anyways,
you remember the one time we had to pick up Hunter?
yeah,
A big basset hound?
yeah.
He was big for a basset hound.
He was big.
And I took him on a walk. And then I think I had to run and get you. I left him there.
I think I do remember that. I think I do remember that.
And you came to help, and we had to
Because I had
carry
to
him.
carry him.
And I came back, and he was still lying down in the same spot. There was nothing wrong with him. Just basset hounds are couch potatoes.
Yeah, he was done. He was officially done.
And I apparently, because this was my first basset hounds are notorious for when they're done a walk, they're done a walk.
Yeah.
And they've got such a low center of
They
gravity.
can just nope. I feel like that's a bit like Murphy. I feel like Murphy has a bit.
But I've
Basset hound
seen
in him.
other basset hounds, and they're a lot smaller. I got two big
I was
basset
gonna
hounds.
say the basset hounds you have are really big because I've seen some other basset hounds. I'm like, that seems kind of small.
Yeah. Well, that's like
Why don't we get
our,
some big hardy basset
our
hounds?
Great Pyrenees too, because
They were big too.
they were both big. I mean, Lucy was dwarfed by Buddy.
Yeah,
Right? Buddy was
but Lucy was
massive.
still a big Pyrenees. Because I've
Yes.
seen other Pyrenees since, and they're nowhere near the size of Lucy
They're
or
a
Buddy.
big dog.
They are
normally.
a big dog, so it's not like they're small. They're not small.
But we were sitting at the lakeside one time, shortly after Lucy had gone.
Yeah.
And there was a guy walking his Great Pyrenees, and she came up to me, and I was like, "Oh my gosh!" But when she left, I turned to Mark, my husband, and said, "Did she not seem like a small Pyrenees?" And he's like, "Yeah, I was wondering. Is that the normal size for
I
them,
think
or-"
it must be because I've seen other, but I also don't know because sometimes I think they're like obviously you sometimes see them that almost look like mixed with golden retriever. So I don't
Yes.
know if I'm sometimes mixing up because of course the Pyrenees seems to take a big, like prominent. I think the one they get with golden retrievers they often lose like their back hook.
Yeah, so you look for the dew claws.
The
they're
dew
called.
claws, that's what it is. Yeah.
And then it's at least a Pyrenees mix.
Yeah.
If not a pure Pyrenees.
Exactly. So I think they often don't have those.
Yeah, they don't.
On when they're with a golden retriever, but you could obviously tell they're Pyrenees because like
They got the big
They got the coat,
white
the
and
tail. Like it's
They
pretty,
usually have extra fur here.
yeah, you can tell too when you feel their fur. It's very
Oh,
the coarseness in the undercoat.
because they've got the double coat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're never supposed to shave a Great Pyrenees.
No,
Because you're doing them a disservice.
obviously
there.
less surgery.
Yeah.
So,
But it's funny. I just saw a video a few days ago because I'm on Facebook and I'm on these Great Pyrenees groups, right? And this farmer happened to have cameras on his field.
oh,
And he had a Great Pyrenees that was with the sheep in this field. And there were 7 wolves that showed up.
oh shit,
And the Great Pyrenees killed like 2 of them, or 5 of them right in the field.
holy,
Then disappeared for about 3 days. Well, what happened is the Great Pyrenees chased down the other 2 wolves and killed them and got injuries because she was
Aw,
fighting
poor
with
baby.
them. And the farmer found her in the chicken coop because she was hiding in there.
oh,
And he immediately took her to a vet and got her all fixed up. She's fine now, but she took down 7
Yeah.
friggin' wolves.
well, Lucy could get pretty vicious. Like,
Oh,
alright,
yeah.
you're like, if you want to have Buddy too. It took him more because he was a bit of a dope in the sweetest way.
Yeah,
in the sweetest way.
He would play with a wolf.
He would play with a
He would
wolf.
have accidentally
Yeah,
killed a wolf.
I don't think
but
he'd
not on
actually. Yeah,
purpose.
he hadn't trained to be like a vicious guard dog.
Yes.
He was more just intimidating because he was so big and his bark was so massive it could blow you over.
Yeah. Not
but
to mention his paws.
his paw. That yeah.
He had learned though
Oh,
to do it gently.
Yeah, just you doing that hard though. I have memories of being like, oh my god,
Yes.
and like scratching you, and you're like,
Yeah,
that's
but
good.
he had
Sting and
learned
bruise.
to do
He
it
started
gently.
to learn.
Yes,
It was
just before he passed.
in the beginning. It was pretty. There was a
Oh
couple
my
times I was like,
God.
oh my god,
He
that
didn't know
hurts.
his own strength.
He did not. But Lucy, if you want a dog that was going to actually protect you in a situation, Lucy.
Yeah.
You want
she would-
Lucy.
She had death. She was like,
I will take you down.
And I had heard her take down some coyotes.
I bet. Oh, I bet. Anytime the coyotes were out, I remember her always being at the door, like pacing, like, I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
Let me
and
out
you had
there.
to watch her at night too.
Because she would try and do, like, I'm going.
Yeah.
Getting them.
Taking off in the night and stuff. And
Because I remember there was time, well, I think there was one time she got, wasn't there?
oh yeah.
And
yeah.
I think you had to, like, I remember Papa having to go out with the gun and try
Yeah.
and scare, wasn't he trying to scare them?
Well, there were a couple of incidents.
I know there was times where he had gone out even before with the gun, but
Yeah.
I feel like there was one time with Luce, and they were trying to get Luce back in.
Yeah, there was one time she had escaped, and of course I could hear her fighting
Yeah.
in the distance, right? And it's funny because you'd hear the coyotes go yeah, 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 like they do when they're circling
Yeah.
or something, and then all of a sudden you'd hear them whimper like ow, ow, ow. So of course she was
She's taking care of business.
exactly, and then
She never came injured back. She was always fine.
she never did
She
because
was always fine.
that night when she finally I saw her across the road in the field. I had gotten up to pee and it was around 3 a.m. and I
Oh.
saw her in the field.
I think I remember that because then you go downstairs and call for her.
No, I went
Oh.
downstairs. I'm in my nightgown, put my rubber boots on, and I race out to grab her.
Yeah.
Not thinking to bring her leash, which would have been easier.
That would have been helpful. She's just like, I need to go get her.
exactly. And she cowered. She totally did the I'm sorry, Mom thing in the field. And I grabbed her by her collar and I was walking her, which is really hard to do.
Yeah, so say even when she's a tall dog, you still have to hunch over.
Exactly. And we're in like a.
If it was Buddy, it would have been a little bit easier off the back.
Exactly. All I'd have to do is start the car. It'd be like there, no problem. But it was in a bumpy field because it had just been plowed or whatever. So I'm humping her back to our house. And all of a sudden, like when I finally get her up and
Yeah.
she's willing to walk with me, all these eyes on the edge of the field come into sight. And I'm like, oh shit. You know, it's like,
I didn't think about that.
exactly. So it was like, but I got her back home and I was like telling her the whole way, you are awful for making me get out here. And I was so mad.
My life in danger doesn't grab you. Did you see all those eyes?
Exactly. And she's like, sorry, Mom, I'll kill them for you if you want.
She would have.
Yeah, she would have,
She
100%.
was definitely viciously.
Yeah, she could
Dog
be
in that way.
She could be very vicious and very kind.
Yeah.
She definitely loved her flock, and we were considered part of her flock.
spam call.
Yep. We were part of her flock. Me and the chickens.
Chickens.
Because I remember I can't remember how it happened, but she got caught up in some rope in the house. And she got all tangled. She'd stepped into something, I can't remember what it was, a rope
Okay.
or something that she got tangled up. So she was basically hogtied
Oh,
herself.
no.
Right. And she started to panic and she wanted to get out. Right. And so I run over to her and I'm like reaching down to try and grab some of the rope to untangle
Yeah.
her. And she goes to bite me. But then she realizes it's me, and she didn't even break the skin or anything.
Yeah.
Like she immediately lifted off.
They do realize that quickly because even Murphy, he's getting more grumpy because and he can't hear or see
Hear
Can't
or see.
see. Can't
You really
see.
can't see.
I always tell the kids like be mindful and like kind of like hit the couch.
Yeah.
Because I'm like we do a lot of sensory
Oh,
for him,
very
so he can
smart.
sense where we
So
are.
he's not surprised.
He's not surprised because there's a few times now where he's like accidentally nipped the kids because sometimes they don't think. They've gotten better now. They've learned. But
a nip or two will teach you.
yeah, but he's learned pretty fast. Like because
Good.
once he sniffs them, he's like, oh shoot. But sometimes he doesn't always pull away fast enough.
Right.
Because once again, he's still older, so
Yeah.
the sense of like I think it's more spooky. So we've all learned like you got pat. Like he does a lot. We do a lot of like sensory stuff. Like even when I tried to reteach him to walk, I would start stamping the ground.
Oh, okay.
So I could teach him like where to go.
Nice.
And he was doing better, but then he doesn't like crossing streets.
Oh,
because
okay.
he can't. I think there's no sense of smell, and my sense of stomping doesn't register as much.
Right. It's like I'm in no man's land.
Yeah, basically. So I had a few times where I'm like, okay, we're just picking you up. I'm just gonna walk you. He's a pretty small puppy. He's
Yeah,
a lasso
he's
apso,
small,
so
yeah.
he's not very big.
No.
But yeah, sensory feedback.
Oh,
I do a
that's-
lot that with him.
That's very smart. And the girls are getting aware of what sensory.
Yeah, and he knows.
feedback is.
He knows too. And they know, and they do that. And we
Yeah.
like if we're trying to get him to like, okay, move over. We're like pet, 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 pet. He knows
Right,
like, that
right.
means like move over.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing.
He does need to help. I need to get puppy steps too
Oh,
for him at
yes.
some point.
I've seen him,
He can't.
and he can't do it
He
anymore.
can't do it anymore. So I just feel bad because if we're out of the house,
and he just
he
wants to
just
sit on the couch.
he jumps down,
watches
and he
soaps.
can't. Yeah, exactly. When he jumps down to go to the washroom, he has a puppy. He has puppy pads, or get food or drink or something.
Yeah.
And if I'm gone for like, I'm usually home pretty often, but
Not
not always are times that I do have to go. I always feel bad. He does have his bed. He has his own puppy bed.
But-
it's very snug. But of course, I'm sure he prefers to be on the couch.
Yeah.
Because like when we're all home, he likes to be on the couch.
Right, right.
So
of
I always
course.
make sure before I leave he's on the couch. But
Mm-hmm.
if he gets down, sometimes he is still up there though. So sometimes I'm like, did he get down? Because sometimes I'll see he's gone to the bathroom. So I'm like, you can somehow get up there. And
Probably
obviously
took him a couple
I was gonna say,
hours.
probably took you some good effort. So I need to get some puppy stairs. So
Right.
if you donate enough in the Ko-fi, I could get
Yeah,
my
get-
dog some puppy steps.
Yeah, exactly. There you go.
Because dog stuff is not cheap. I also want to get him a
No.
small fabric cone because he keeps giving himself hot spots.
Oh.
But he won't. They're not in good spots where I can like stop him from getting them.
Right.
And so he's not giving me enough time to heal them. So I was thinking
Right.
like, I should get him a soft cone so he
Yeah.
can prevent himself from
Yeah.
nibbling.
You might be like, what the hell is this?
There are some funny ones. So I was looking at, but
Oh, okay. Very cool.
so puppy steps and a cone, a soft cone.
yeah.
That's what I need.
Donate to the fund.
Donate for the fun. Get me a birthday gift for my dog. He's an old man. He needs all the love and care he
I
needs.
mean, like I was saying, I think to Kayla for our other tarot or our other podcast, which is Tarot Delights, we often go on tangents too, and we were talking about, I think the Five of Pentacles came up, and that's about like coming from poor to becoming
Rich again.
rich again. Yeah, exactly. And we were talking about like how I would not eat before my cats would not eat.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, and I
Yeah.
would take a pug anytime that someone wants to give me a pug.
There's two pugs that live near us.
Oh, I
And the
want a
kids,
pug.
they love kids. The woman doesn't have kids. She's like, I think doesn't ever plan to have kids. She's like, but it's funny because my dogs love kids. Like, absolutely. She's like, they couldn't give two shits about adults. They don't want to
Right.
be pet by adults. But if they see a kid,
They're
they are
all
like,
over it.
they're going. They're after those kids.
Oh,
I think
that's
it's kind of funny.
funny.
They are funny.
That's funny.
They're
Yeah.
hilarious looking. Typical pug.
Yeah. Exactly. Oh my God. Yeah. Pugs are hilarious. So yeah, but like you know, I would gladly feed my pets before I fed myself.
Yeah. I think I would go kids because of my children. Then my
Well,
pets.
children, yes, of course.
And then
Children,
pets.
me.
Pets, me, yeah. I mean, I've never been in that
My
situation.
children are full grown, as you can see, so they're on their own now.
That's horrible. So you wouldn't sacrifice to feed me?
Of course I would. Of course I would.
I don't know. I don't trust that now. They're adults. I'm always a child.
Yeah, you're always a child. I mean, you're always a child to your parent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't seem to matter.
That's true. We're always little babies.
Yeah.
It's like I tell my kids, I'm like, you're still a baby even when you're not a baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like when my grandma died, her oldest was 75 at the time,
Oh my god.
and he cried like he was a little kid
Well,
losing
yeah,
his
you
mom.
would. It's never gonna be easy.
No.
Even when it's been a long time and you've been fortunate and blessed to have your parent with you for most of your life.
Yeah.
That's never gonna be easy.
No.
That's
no.
gonna be one that hits you hard.
And it's a special club you kind of join when you've lost your mom. You know, other people who've lost their mom understand that pain that you go through.
yeah.
Because it's a primary relationship. It's
Yeah.
really the first relationship you make.
Well, yeah, because you're in there. I mean, depending on what mother it is, you're in their womb.
Yeah, you're in
most
their
likely.
womb.
I mean,
Or
depends
you know,
on the parent.
that's the one you bond with first.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, because of course, even as you're born, you're put on your mom.
Yeah.
A lot of the times, it starts the bonding process
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like it was weird when my mom died. A couple people reached out to me and said, sort of their mom had died. They know what I'm going through, and it was very comforting to hear that. And even now today, I have clients that will come in, and if they start talking, I can tell whether they still have their mom or not in their lives, right? And some of them are quite a bit older and still have their moms. I'm like, wow, you're so lucky, you know?
Yeah. I mean, some people are blessed. Like, you can have your parent, say you had your parent up until almost your 80s.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really fortunate, I think, and privileged
Very, yes.
way.
Yeah, the universe is I wouldn't say it's a privilege, but not privileged.
No.
It's the universe saying you're
You need a
supposed to
lot of
have your-
help.
you have your mom and you're being blessed with your mom. And
Yeah.
hopefully, you know, there's a lot of fights you have with your mom too, right? As
Yeah.
much as you love her, you can hate her at the same time. and
Can't stand you. Absolutely awful.
and she's like her and your father, whoever your mother and your father,
Or whoever your parents are.
or whoever your parents are usually the ones you feel safest to fight with
Yeah.
because you know there's that unconditional love.
Typically. I
Typically
think it's,
speaking.
yeah. I mean,
It's not always a pure unconditional love. A lot of mothers put conditions. A lot of parents put conditions.
I think people forget about the unconditional love part when it comes to their kids. I think especially as they get older and become individuals with their own thought patterns and thinking
True.
realize that, like, oh, there's a world outside of what you've shown me.
Yes, yes.
And like, oh, I am my own.
And often I find people get upset with their parents when they find out their parents aren't perfect.
Yeah.
Because we often have that adoration of our parents until we hit a certain age and we're
Yeah.
like, oh, you're just as fucked up as I am.
That's true. I think it also depends on too, like, how much a parent is willing to be vulnerable in front of their kid, and how,
True.
like, are you willing to, like, own up when you've made mistakes? Are you able to say sorry to your kid when you've messed up?
Right.
Are you able to show them kind of like, I'm not perfect. I also make mistakes. I also
Yeah.
do things wrong sometimes, and
But I
that's
find
okay.
some adults have gotten angry at their parents simply because they weren't perfect human beings.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, it's like, well, they, did this and they did that and they said that and it's all wrong and blah, blah, blah. And of course, a lot of times when you're a teenager, it's usually the teenage years that you tend to be a rebel. You tend to, you're starting to branch out and, like you say, see that there's an outside world.
Yeah.
And you might have different opinions than your parents.
Yeah.
And that might become a bone of contention. And it's like, but at the same time, you've got to let your child grow. Like, two
Yeah.
things that are hard for parents that I often tell parents who come in for readings with me about their children is one of the hardest things is you have to watch your child fall down sometimes.
Oh God, yeah. That's
Because
a
we
hard
want to
one.
bubble wrap them and make sure nothing hurts
You
them,
know,
right?
yeah, I know.
And the second thing that's really hard is they might not have the same outlook or opinion as you do.
Yeah.
and that's okay. A lot of times I tell the story of you when you presented to me that you wanted to have a Christmas with just you and Ayanda, and I think Lucy may have just been born, or
Yeah, our first Christmas was to get just us was like with Lucy.
okay, I thought it was, and I remember I had to sit with that, and I cried a lot, but I'm like, but she's a grown woman. I did the same thing when I became, married and a mother and stuff. It's okay.
Yeah,
You know,
I didn't leave you once I got married. I still stuck around.
You
then.
you did. But at the same time, like, I always dreamed of you just always coming home
Yeah.
for Christmas, and I realized that no,
That's not gonna be
that's
realistic.
unrealistic. Yeah,
I
and-
remember that because I remember people coming to me like, your mother and I made the decision not to spend family like Christmas with our parents. It's like, that's okay. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
I'm like, okay.
he was a lot more diplomatic about
He
it.
was more like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
You do you.
My father's daughter was coming out in me though when you said no, but at the same time, I recognized in myself that I had to let you grow.
Yeah.
Right, that's part of your growing process,
Yeah.
and it's okay, and now I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like, I was okay with it. It's just I needed to shed some
Yeah.
tears to be able to release that.
Yeah.
And I wasn't angry or disappointed or anything. I was
It's just
just
like
it was a
grieving
change.
process and different transition. And
absolutely.
a new phase in life. I think if we had a bigger space, I wouldn't be opposed to doing more Christmases together. But it's just like neither of us have the space at this time in our lives.
Yes, exactly.
Maybe if it changes.
It might change, and I'm ready to evolve into whatever Christmas becomes.
Yeah.
I'm not unhappy at Christmas or anything.
No, I'm a pretty chill.
But I use that as an example of, you have to let your children grow and
do their own
do
thing.
their own thing. It might, as a parent, be slightly painful because any transition is always
Yeah.
painful, right? And